Check. Good morning. Hello. Happy Monday to everybody. It is, what is it? Week 5. Week 5 in the books, almost. We got Monday Night Football tonight, Chiefs, Saints. Interesting matchup. I don't really know that I have a lean or side or total in this game, but I do want to talk some player props, and I can't hit an underdog entry to save my life. I can't hit a parlay to save my life. I thought I had a beautiful rushing alt parlay yesterday. Kyron Williams got there 90 plus. How about Kyler Murray 80 plus, like 10-1, and then fucking Alexander Madison couldn't get there for me. Kind of a bummer. Touchdown parlay. What did I do? I think I hit T. Higgins, and that was about it. No more Travis Etienne, which means Travis Etienne is going to score 3 touchdowns next game. I'm not even remotely joking. You got to like what you saw somewhat from the offense there in old Jacksonville. I did a morning recap podcast. The Board Review is a podcast. I know that if you're in here right now, you probably don't necessarily need or care for it because you're attending these live, which are great. And then, but obviously a lot of people can't make it. And look, I have to understand sometimes. I've always told myself, why would I need to put this in a podcast? You can always just go rewatch it on Twitch or YouTube or on Twitter. There's a lot of people, and I remember, like, my friends are a perfect example. A couple of old heads, late 30s, wifed up, kids, everybody in my fantasy football group chat that I've known since high school. When I was doing the board reviews where I was just posting a video of myself and doing it on Twitter, and then everybody was like, hey, you should go to Twitch. When I told my friends I was going to Twitch, they're like, yeah, see you later. I'm not figuring out Twitch. We're old heads. You know what I mean? So podcast morning recap was in there. I guess I won't spend too much time going too in depth, but we will touch on it as well live with you guys because I'd be curious to hear your thoughts and your takeaways. Good morning, boys. Let's go Cowboys. Bit of a bummer. Tough week for us again, man. Last 3 weeks have been I'm not going to say awful, but they haven't been good. Last 2 weeks, 2-3 in the newsletter. Week before that, 1-5. We had 6 plays. We were feeling pretty good after that week 1 and 2 start. But yesterday, we whiffed on all of our best bets. I started it off with the Jets, and then Steak had the Rams, and then Greg had the Steelers. Greg had been 4-0 in his best bets this season. That was his first loss. Steak was 2-2, so he's 2-3 now. I am 1-4 on my best bets. Absolutely brutal. In typical degenerate fashion, what I like to do is get in front of these teams that I just don't fully believe in yet, and the Washington Commanders being one of them. So faded them twice on my 5 best bets on the year with the Giants and the Cardinals. That was stupid. What are you going to do? Bet on Mike McDaniel? Stupid. What are you going to do? I got to tell you, though, there were some things from that Jets game, like looking back on it, was like, man, I don't know that I totally regret the play. I would have if the Vikings, now granted things changed when Aaron Jones got hurt, but I really would have regretted it if the Vikings kind of got out to a 17-0 lead and really just had control of the game and didn't look back after that. But I mean, the Jets certainly made it interesting and they fucking had their chances. So I can't tell you I totally regret the play, but I think the Jets are going to be a team, as I said in the recap, that I'm just going to stay away from because they are just weird on offense. Just weird. There's something totally off, and I don't know what the fuck is going on. I guess when you watch the game, it looks to me like Nathaniel Hackett is the play caller. So just based off that alone, I'm going to blame Nathaniel Hackett. And then I'm going to think back and tell myself, what has Nathaniel Hackett ever done to have this position? 32 offensive coordinator positions in the world. Nathaniel Hackett has one of them. How? Crazy. I just don't get it. Yeah, Brees Hall, OPOY, Hook, that shit ain't happening. Jets Super Bowl, I mean, I guess it's not dead, but it certainly ain't looking good. 2-3 losses to the Vikings and they were underdogs, whatever, but losses to the Broncos. You can't have that, but the whole division is shit. Dolphin, I mean, the Jets could still win this division. What is going on with Buffalo? Sean McDermott. Let's get to some of the comments. What's up, Brock D? Good morning, Ron. What's up, Fuzzy? Fire McDermott. Yeah, our year Steelers were a shit bet. Yeah, they were. McDermott and Josh Allen's postgame interviews had me sick. I didn't listen to it, but I'd like to go back and hear it. We are buzzing right now. You guys love Mondays. Fridays are slow. Mondays are great. We got 200 in here on Twitter watching. Good morning. We got 65 on Twitch. We got YouTube rolling. Who's in the YouTube gang? Let's see. Let me pull up YouTube real quick. Hold on. I always like seeing how the chat's doing in here. We got 15 nice and early on YouTube. Thank you for hanging out. Love it. Feel free to, if you can contribute in chat, you have any questions or plays to take away from. Remember, this is a group effort here. Need someone to feed me a winner. The Steelers took all my coins. You put that much on the Steelers? Oof, I didn't feel that great about it. Lamb going to explode on Detroit. Yep, 10-4s. Good morning. Just keep not playing my plays. Thanks, Cornfield. Would you stop it? I have like 200 people telling me to play their plays. For the most part, I kind of already did play your play because I needed the Jets to win the game. So clearly I needed the Jets to intercept Sam Darnold. But good read. Cowboys, sure, all defensive players are out. They can't win free. Yeah. Hey. Let's not be too told you so. No, I'm just kidding. That was a good bet. That was the right side, but you're right. I'll be honest with you. I didn't really know there was that much bad news until I was listening to one of the streams. Maybe it was betting news or something. Or maybe it was Ramble on Friday or Saturday. I didn't realize there were so many players out. Not that it mattered. I'm going to war with Greg no matter what. Figuring out Twitch, you downloading the app. Yeah. Well, we get old. It's a lot. It seems like a lot harder than that. Top of the morning, DJ. Let's have a damn day. That'd be great. Puck, Monday Night Football, playoff diamond. Oh my, how are we looking in the circuit contest? I think we dropped a little past few weeks after a hot start. We sure did. We started 8-2. Then we went 3-8. So what's that? 11-10. And then we were 2-3. We hit the Giants in the contest. We hit the Bears in the contest. Lost all three of our best bets. So we are now 13-13. Not going to cut it. Felt like there was so much bad news with the Cowboys. Saw no Cowboys tickets either. Yeah, I got to tell you, I must have just really not paid much attention to that game. I had no idea that there were that many guys out. Couldn't believe how many people that bet the way I bet had Steelers. Obviously nothing appealing about the Cowboys last night. Just bad news without bad news. Salah's a terrorist. He doesn't deserve any money anywhere. No, he does not. What's up, Lancer? Good morning. It was more of a Vikings doing stupid things and letting Jets come back. First Jets playing well. I think that's fair. Yeah, I don't want to give the Jets any credit. Well, I guess you still sort of have to give them credit because let's be honest, they offensively, the Jets only allowed one touchdown, and this is with the Aaron Rodgers having 3 turnovers. So how is Van Ginkel in the end zone every week? Yeah, I don't know. You're giving Rodgers too long of a leash. Am I? I literally, when Tyrod Taylor was about to go in the game, I said the Jets have a better chance of winning. Him and Aaron jerk each other off in the corner of the locker room. That's how he wins. Yep. Josh Allen, McDermott. Oh, I already read that. The problem, too, is you said go trade for Devontae now. Like, Devontae fixes this offense. His play calling, LOL, they're coaching and torch shit. Doesn't matter, though. It doesn't matter. You're going to be a better offense with Devontae Adams. And why? You have to understand something. I get they have more than one issue. I'm not disagreeing with you there. Their window is open by this much. This much. You got to go for it. You got to get Devontae Adams. I know the play calling sucks. I know the coaching sucks. But let's be honest. Look at these weapons that Rodgers is throwing to. Get out of here with Tyler Conklin and fucking Alan Lazard. Get out of here. You know what? You don't even need. You should have gotten like a Darnell Mooney. You don't even need Adams. But I don't know who else is on the trade block. Caleb and DJ Cook, and we love to see that. Lots of bad news throughout there this week. I got to tell you, Look, my only concern with the Steelers bet is that Greg is not good historically betting on his teams. That's it. But it's okay. I mean, the guy's 4-0 on his best bets this year. You can't tell him what to do. Mike has it does? Mike has a lot of static. Turn the mic down. Oh, shit. Really? How about now? Oh, shit. That means the podcast probably sound like shit. How's that? Is that better? No, you're good. Aloha is drunk. Really? His weapons are fine. No, I don't think so, man. No, let's be honest now. I know Breece Hall is good, but that's not an Aaron Rodgers thing. Better? Weapons are fine. Yes, you guys are crazy. I think you guys are crazy. Are Dak Prescott's weapons fine? I think we're getting a little too high on Breece Hall. Is what I really think. That's what I really think. Receivers can't read Rodgers. I heard Garrett Wilson was a top 5 receiver. Yeah, bro, get Breece Hall. Yeah, listen, I love Breece Hall, but I don't know. Also, even when the Jets finally listened to my film rooming and hand the ball off to Breece Hall, or I'm sorry, Braylon Allen on 3rd and 2, they still run the stupidest fucking designed runs. They do like counters. They pull the guards. It takes a second for the running back for the play to develop. Just put a fullback in there, hand the ball up, run up the A gap. Unbelievable. He had worse weapons in Green Bay. Did fine. Yeah, I know, but he was also like 38 years old. I don't know. I think their O-line and OC are dog shit. The OC is dog shit. The O-line, I don't know. Yeah, maybe they are bad. Salah is useless. Yep, Hockett's fucking idiot. DJ, can you glaze Caleb Williams and the Bears real quick? I sure can. Absolutely love to see that from the Bears. I really do. Happy to see that from Caleb Williams. I'm a fan of Caleb Williams. I think he's going to do well. I'm happy that he's doing well. Love the city of Chicago. It's like my favorite city. So I'm happy to see the Bears do well. And then I'm happy that we got there too. I was a little nervous. For sure, I was a little nervous. I thought it was the easiest play on the board. Royal Locks gave out a sub bang. We love that. A couple of new follows. What's up, Kafera and Ryan? Good to see you. Welcome. Vikings up 71-05 was less than 2 minutes left in half. They shouldn't have passed and had NJ burn timeout. So dumb. Let them score before you half. Yep. Yeah. Good morning, DJ fam. Good morning. Cam is money. O-line is ring. Yeah. PFF can get fucked. Never forget PFF had TJ Watt 6th on the fucking defensive lineman chart. No, but in all seriousness, like I think here's the thing with the Jets is what I'll say. Like, it's going to take a little bit of time. You got a quarterback who didn't play football last year. You got an offensive line with new pieces. Like, it's going to take a little bit of time. But the problem is this. There's no progress. You know, like with the Bears. Look at the Bears, for example. I think the Bears are a perfect example. Now, let's not get too carried away with ourselves because they play the Colts defense and the Panthers defense. But at least you're seeing a little bit of progress. You got a rookie quarterback. You got Keenan Allen. You got a rookie wide receiver. You got new running backs. You're seeing progress. Everything the Jets do, like, an infant can tell you it's the wrong thing to do. Your QB sucks. Who? Mike Tomlin limiting George Pickett snaps. Yeah, that's weird. Everyone plays motion, not the Jets. Star Stanley Cup. Oh, I don't know if I can do it again, to be honest with you. But it wasn't slander. It was saying that you can't say he doesn't have. Wasn't slander. He's saying you can't say he does. No, I'm not necessarily saying he doesn't have weapons. I'm not saying that. But clearly, teams are doing a good job of taking Garrett Wilson out of the game, or they're just not on the same page. I don't know. But Alan Lazard, I'm sorry. I just can't with Alan Lazard and Tyler Conklin and Mike Williams. I just can't. I'm sorry. AR is too slow. Oh, he is. Yeah. No mobility. Yep, that's fair. Yep. If the Bears got Jane Daniels, they would be so much better than that they are now. I don't think you can say that. Listen, as good as Jane Daniels is, a lot of credit goes to Cliff Kingsbury over there. For what it's worth, the Commanders, listen, friends don't let friends. Yeah, I don't like that take. I don't agree with that take. For what it's worth, the Commanders are awesome, but in the same breath, you have to acknowledge that the Browns are really, really bad. But maybe Dan Quinn is turning around this dog shit defense for the Commanders. You gotta like that. Just put a Honda Civic on Cushion. OPOY, I don't know who that is. Caleb beating Daniels in week 7 will feed families. Oh boy, that's fun. Dan Quinn and Kingsbury is like the best landing spot for rookie QBD. It's pretty good. It's definitely better than Eberflus. I'll give you that. But hey, I like what I'm seeing from that. What else can we talk about briefly? Because then we have to talk Monday Night Football, and then we're going to talk Pac. We got Jovan coming on in a few minutes. The Rams secondary sucks. Their secondary sucks. I love being so right about a team and then losing units on them during the week. But like I said, even if that wasn't Steak's best bet, I like the Rams. I would have played the Rams. No regrets there. What else can we say? Panthers are back to reality there. I know people got excited after that game against the Raiders. I think the Raiders, listen, I want to shit on the Raiders a lot. I think the Raiders are a dead team, but then I have to remember they were about to go up 17-3 on the fucking Broncos before Gardner Minshew threw that pick six. That's crazy. Cousins, CPOY still recovering from carrying goalposts. Very funny. Corn, that was an awesome video, by the way. Good job. Good content. Corn. Corn likes to lay low on social media, but I see him out there with the content. Cowboys week 1 was blown way out of proportion. Let's see. NHL is finally back. Bears, good again. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Allen was out cold and came back 2 plays later. Fuck yeah. You already missed the boat on the Devil's future. Nah, I don't know about that. Lazard is goated. He knows what Rodgers wants in the offense. As soon as they get on the same page, Joe Line can protect him with half a second. The Jets will be fine. Yeah, I'm not so sure. I am not so sure. Nashville is bumping this weekend. Yep, love to go to Nashville. My wife is dying to go to Nashville. We went to a country bar. Unfortunately, they weren't playing country though; they were playing blues, which is still it was great. Don't get me wrong. But we've been in a country kick a little bit lately. We got to get to Nashville and say hi to Cornfields. Sabres breaking the playoff drought. Yeah, I don't know about that. Have you recapped Sunday night yet? No, I didn't stay up for it. The game was delayed. I went to bed. I got some great sleep last night. I had 2 Guinnesses, 2 cups of 2 bowls of chili. Chili was great. Excellent chili. Ground bison and ground beef. Ground bison in the chili. Molto bene. Intermittent fasting. Yeah, we love that. We love that. Skip the meal. That whole day got started. It was great. Skip the meal. Went to go to a diner at 1 o'clock. They were closed because they're renovating. Went to a bar. I was just craving hash browns and eggs. And then I saw a guy with ice cold Budweiser, and I said, "Hey, that looks mighty good. I'm gonna need me one of those." Chili season. Yep. Shit Guinness primer. Will you shut the fuck up? You're literally like 19 years old and you just bet on your favorite teams. Is your mic on? Not as crisp as normal. What is going on? What is going on? I don't know. Hold on. Check. Do I sound like shit? Hold on. Before we get started, because we're going to talk. Let me see. Before we get started, but we're going to talk. Let me just keep repeating myself. Hold on, guys. Before we get started. Ooh, I do sound bad. Hold on. Just keep repeating myself. Hold on, guys. Why do I sound like shit? Ooh, I do sound bad. Hold on. Why do I sound like a shit? Check. Hold on. Why do I sound like a shit? Check. 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 Does that sound better? Too loud? Check. Does that sound better? Too loud? Last one. Hold on. Check. Last one. Hold on. Check. I don't know. All right. Maybe I won't. Think that's better? Maybe I'll keep the microphone right here. Maybe I won't. Think that's better? Maybe I'll keep the microphone right here. Turn the other dial down, bro. This one? This says gain. Turn gain down. Other dial down, bro. This one? This says gain. Turn gain down. This one? This says gain. Turn gain down. It's all the way down. It's all the way down. It's all the way down. It's good? All right. It's good? Sorry. Okay. It did sound like shit. Still an echo? Mike is more than fine. You're fine. It's fine. All right. Well, fuck. That's not good. I don't know what's going on. Just don't face fuck it. All right. That's good. Chat just bitching. It's fine. Move on. Okay, fine. I thought that was primer for a second. You're good, Phils. Hype train. Noah Thornton coming out with 5 sub banks. We love to see it. Noah Thornton. Appreciate you. Okay. We're rocking and rolling. Let's talk Monday Night Football. I don't even know what that means, but it's good. DJen, it's good. I'm just listening to the people, fat girls. I'm sorry. Holy hell. Took 1 week off and all hell breaks loose. I have, what does this say? Hold on. What the fuck is this? Oh, I Am Trevor May just went live and it gave me a notification. Okay. Fuck Greg. Everything KC, rocking and rolling wasn't good enough. Noah Thornton, appreciate you. Had 10, but I let Greg and newsletter down. What do you mean you let us down? We let you guys down. You don't sound bad on YouTube. Just keep a consistent distance from the mic. Yeah, like sometimes I lean in like this. I don't know why I do that. It's not good for my back. Let me try to do a better job of just sitting straight up like this. How about that? All right, enough of experimenting with the mic. Let's talk this game. What do you guys see? I'm trying. I'll listen. I'm not forcing a game script here. If it comes to me naturally, I'll post one. I'll do one. I'm having a really tough time with this Saints game. Let's talk Saints, and then we're gonna have Jovan up here, and we're gonna talk. Was boots on ground for the Ers and oh, gotcha. That's all right, big dog. Can we recap the calling our shot ladder challenge before we get started? I don't know what happened. You want to tell me real quick? Did he win or did he lose? The calling our shot guy when he talks like this, and then I need him to have 24 yards receiving, and that's great. And then we'll see you tomorrow. We're gonna keep climbing. What minus 800 sold? Feel like it's gonna be a Kamara. Need some bitches. Bad beat our 500 yard. Did he? Wait? Are they winning or not? If I see one more fucking correlation slip, I watched that guy. That's a very great impression. Thank you. I'm actually like sneaky good at some impressions, by the way. I've done a Krabs impression. I won't do them anymore though, because I don't want him to get mad at me. But I'm pretty good at doing a Krabs impression. Okay, let's talk Saints. Everybody, focus your attention to Saints for the love of God. Juwan Johnson masterclass, really? Please do Krabs. No, all I just do is How do you spell how Krabs says dude? Dote. D-O-U-T-E. Dote. That accent is wild. Should I do ladder challenge? Yeah. Dude, that's a good one. Corn ladder challenge. Yeah, Corn, come on. Give the fucking people what they want, bro. You're a sharp son of a bitch. All Corn does is come in here, he drops a play once every fucking 3 weeks, and then he yells at me for not fucking taking it. I got enough people yelling at me. All right, stop. Noah Thornton, thanks again for the sub bangs. Let's see who got him. RB, Doug, Matt Gothier, Vinny Diaz, DJ and Donnie, and JB Sainter. Okay. Corn's about to take some dumbass shit that I'm going to do after the game. Justin Watson. Yeah. Actually, he probably will. All right, I'll start Friday, 1 per week. W's. You don't like Corn anymore because he's a Falcon enthusiast. No, I still like Corn. I still like you too. You guys are just annoying as fuck when the Falcons are on. That's for sure. That is for sure. Blake Corum Hook. Yep. Okay, let's get in there. Let's get in here, guys. Let's make it nasty. All right, talk to me about this game. First and foremost, before we talk player props, I'm going to lean on you guys. I actually might just tell the chat because I need an entry, and I can't get an entry. I can't get player props right. Total in this game is 43. 43. 5.5 spread on the Chiefs. Well, we don't like you. Thank you. 5.5 on the Chiefs. Now, at first glance, I'm going to tell you what I thought. Browns? What are we talking about? We're talking Chiefs Saints. Did I say Browns? I didn't mean Browns if I said that. Cam is money. Chiefs Saints. At first glance, I thought this was looking a little cozy to take the Saints. That's what I thought. Let me tell you why. I'm not going to read the chat. I need a script prediction. I know everybody needs one now that motherfucker hit a $23,000 parlay. My wife is telling me, hey, asshole. I agree. At first glance, my thought process was, I know the Saints preseason were a 7.5 win total team. Everybody had their under, but you got to think about it. What have they done through the first 4 weeks? The first 2 weeks, they put up like 90 points. They were the biggest surprise of the season. Since then, they've lost 2 games, but they could have won both. It's not like they went out there and lost like how the Browns lost to the Commanders. They didn't get their ass kicked. You know what I mean? They went out there and they played pretty well. They played competent, respectful football. A Saints team that could, not saying they should, could be 4-0. Could be. Hype train level 2. Let's go on a Monday morning. Mondays are buzzing. I love it. I've only had 2 cups of coffee today. You know what? I'm saving one for the afternoon. The sun's coming out. Sun's coming out. I'm ready to get my fucking temples buzzing like a motherfucker. I'm getting geeked this afternoon. What am I going to do with it? I don't know. All I have is a fucking 5 o'clock, but I'm going to do something. Anyways, you've collected all the level 1 emotes. We love that. Don't know what it means, but it sounds fun. 5.5 to me said, hey. It said, hey, for New Orleans. It said, come on down. Come on down to the Bayou. We're pretty competitive. We're pretty tough. Come on down. Take this 5.5. You know the Chiefs. You've seen the Chiefs, man. Yeah, they win, but they haven't played their A game. They don't look that good. They got down to the fucking banged up Justin Herbert. 10-0, had to come back and win that game. They barely beat the Falcons. They got lucky to beat the Ravens. What was the other fucking game this team played? Who else did they play? Oh, they got lucky a little bit with the PI on the Bengals. Come on. This team can't win in convincing fashion. Come on down to the Bayou. Have yourself a time. The South Park intro, if you guys picked that up. Come on down. By the way, have you ever been to New Orleans, French Quarter? Awesome. Love New Orleans. Great city. Fun city. I wanted to take the Saints here, but I'm starting to think you get duped. That's what I'm starting to think. I'm starting to think you get duped. Does anybody agree or disagree? Lost Rice. Yes, they did. That's true. That's a very, very good point, Jeff. Chiefs might just keep sleepwalking to the Super Bowl. Yep. Kelsey TDDs just cashed. Shit wager. Chiefs three-peat? Probably. Can we get a Cartman impression? Damn it, Cal. Actually, I can't really do a good Cartman or any South Park characters. Feels kind of fat without Rice Pacheco. Agreed. This game is an arrowhead. I know that. Did I say it wasn't Sharif Milligan? By the way, thanks for joining. Thanks for watching on YouTube. If I say I disagree, I think the Chiefs are too banged up on offense right now. I said it before, but the Vikings will be the last undefeated and nobody will see it coming. Yep. No, I think the Chiefs win this game. You tried. Thanks. Saints and Royal Mint spot as a 5.5. Yeah. So the 5.5 spread for dogs, you may or may not already know. I believe they're 15-2 coming into this week. I don't know if that's changed, but I don't think there were a lot of 5.5 spreads yesterday. You and the world on Chiefs. I love when Primer tries to get contrarian. I don't know about that. That's the whole point. Did you listen to anything I just said? I feel like the Saints, with those points, given how they've played the first 4 weeks, would, if anything, make them a little bit of a trendy dog. That's where my brain was going. My brain was going to the Saints. Trips at the 1 yard line. I don't know what that means, Carmel. The public is on the Saints, man. I'm not saying they are or they're not. I would think, if I had to guess, where is the public better putting their money? It's not on the Kansas City Chiefs laying 5.5. That's what I think. Prime, how many times do you listen? How many times do I tell you, take those with a grain of salt? All right. There's fucking splits on a website that you do or don't know is accurate. Get yourself what I call the fingertip feel. Get out there in the real world. Get out from your fucking bedroom that's decked out in Texas Rangers and Dallas Cowboys memorabilia. Get out there and talk to some people and say, hey, what do you think? Saints plus 5.5 or Chiefs minus 5.5? I think your average person will probably side with the Saints. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. Prime sleeps in the Cowboys bed. Waterbed. As a Saints bettor, I do believe Saints will be very trendy. Chiefs too banged up. That's fine. See, Kim, I texted you on Monday because I said, and what did I tell you? I said, I saw you add the Bears, and I said, brother, I want to bet the Bears. I want to make the Bears my best bet. But to me, they look like the easiest play on the board, and I don't really hit easy plays. I don't hit square plays. Are they going to be square? You said, yeah, they're going to be very square. I was like, fuck, I can't do it then. Thankfully, I ended up playing them. But sometimes the square plays, no, a lot of times the square plays still hit. So I'm not taking a bet because it's square. Does that make sense? I still played the Bears, and I'm happy that I did. Feels good. It feels so fucking good sometimes to win a nice, easy, obvious bet, in my opinion. Now, I'm not saying that there's a really comfortable side here, but I personally think this is a really bad spot for the Saints. That's what I think. And what I really think, if you really want me to get fucking nitty gritty on this game, I don't think the Saints score many points. I don't really think either team scores many points, but I think the Chiefs defense would be my masterclass candidate. I don't see this. I don't see the Saints scoring more than 17. What's their team total? I don't know. Maybe that is what it is, actually. A lot of favorites in the early slate cleaned up yesterday. Afternoon slate fucked people up. Yeah, short favorites were cashing left and right and left and right and left and right. Except the fucking Steelers. Dicks. I still don't think anyone respects the Saints. You don't. Okay, interesting. Well, I'm going to tell you this. I'm having a really tough time coming around to a side in this game. I am thinking it's the under. I think... You know what I think we need? Actually, this is what I need from everybody. I think this is a game we need to consider all the injuries. This is what we need to consider. Carr has a lot of experience versus defense. Does he? Interesting. You is my VSiN contest play. You? Oh, the under. Is it really? I like the under. Saints have a divisional game versus Tampa Bay on deck. Yep. So sandwiched in between a divisional game, you've got this weird trip to Kansas City. He was a Raider for 40. Yes. Derek Carr as a Raider in the same division as the Chiefs, playing him twice a year. How could I forget? Well, listen, I will say one thing. If you watch the Chiefs, there's definitely something. They're not right on offensive yet. I like their defense. I like their defense a lot. I think they kind of remind me of like BYU's defense. I love form tackling. Like, let me tell you. Listen, let me tell you. My wife's not here. Nothing gets my juices flowing more than some good old-fashioned form tackling, because you just don't see it. You don't see it that much. You see these motherfuckers running there with their shoulders, doing God knows what, putting their head on. You just square up. Shoulders up, eyes up, follow through, drag them to the ground. I fucking love form tackling. All right, let's keep that between me and you. Love form tackling. Low pad level. Love it. So listen, here's what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to lean into that. Teams that form tackle, I respect those teams. And I want to bet on those teams. Or I don't want to bet against those teams. Hence why I didn't take Baylor against BYU. Although I did take the under in that game. And BYU's defense didn't really play so well. I don't know why I'm still whispering. Anyways, I like the under in this game. Another week of football, another week of this is the Kelsey game. Trust your goats. Good take, fat girls. That's funny. Yeah. So here's what I'm going to do. It's it might not be the best game to take props. I would not go too crazy on props. I just wouldn't. But here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking this. If I got, game script is actually coming to me right now a little bit. I'm thinking this is a first quarter under. Or it's a Chiefs score first. Or it's a Chiefs score the first touchdown. What is that? It's probably steep. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be like the Chiefs' first touchdown. You know what I would take in this game? Cam is money. What are you on? Because you brought up a pretty good nugget that I didn't even think about, which is foolish of me. But hey, nobody's perfect. You brought up a good nugget that the Carr has a lot of experience against this defense. But what if I told you there is no Rice, no Kelsey had the ball tonight, right? Yeah, I'm out on Kelsey. Over under 42.5, and this has been easily cleared every time the last two teams have faced each other. So under might hit, but not sure. Yep, fair take, OG Sour. Let's look at Underdog real quick. I think if you guys want to sign up for Underdog, I should have the link for you guys. Hold on one second. Excuse me. Sorry for burping in the microphone. Also, if you're listening to the podcast, that is very rude of me. I'll try to not do that as much. Let me get this link for you guys if you want to sign up. I am running out of funds in Underdog. I did take advantage of the 50% deposit. So I put in 500 and I got 250. Here you go. Promo code DGen. I'll pin it at the top for you. If you want to sign up and play a little, please bet responsibly. Okay, I always say all the time, if you're going to parlay player props, do so. I do 0.25 or 0.5 units most of the time if I'm doing anything more than 2 legs. This is just for fun. This is not to get rich and pay your bills, okay? Maybe you can do that, and that's great. That's just not how you go into thinking about it, in my opinion. Okay, let's talk. Let's go Saints real quick. Let's go Saints. Somebody talk to me. Speaking of form tackling, I will be on Bolton tackles and assists. Fucking love that. Love that. All right, talk to me, guys. I need you. Where are my player props? 5.5 and Juwan Johnson over 70.5 yards. Carr going attack safety. All right, you know what? I have no reason not to trust Cam. I really don't. I don't think it's a Derek Carr masterclass. You know what? I want Derek Carr lower than touchdown passes. Lower. I'm pretty sure only one Monday Night Football game. Fun fact, this was some feedback I got from the podcast. When I'm reading the chat, let me try to address it as a chat message. Comment from Fat Girls. Fun fact, I'm pretty sure only one Monday Night Football game this season has went under, including 2 weeks of doubleheaders. Very interesting. Yep. This is a dono? It's a Shaheed game. Chiefs hate covering tight ends. Okay, Kamara receiving yards and Juwan Johnson receptions would be a good play as a Chiefs fan. Interesting. Worthy over longest reception versus man defense. Oh, I like that. Yeah, Jesse, if you're just joining, I think that this line is a lot of respect, given how 5.5 dogs have been covering and given how pesky the Saints have been. I think it's a bad spot for the Saints, sandwiched in between divisional matchups because they got the Bucs on deck next week. I think the Chiefs are going to win this game in a low scoring affair. I think it's going to be like 27-10. I like the Saints team total under. But game script wise, I don't really know how I see the opening of the game. Like I see the, I like a Chiefs to score first, but what if the Saints get the ball, there's a pass interference, and then they kick a field goal? That sucks. And the Chiefs just march down the next drive and score and go 7-3. Maybe Chiefs to win the first quarter. Could do that. Derek Carr lower than Hunt rush attempts, 11.5. Take it now, will be 12 soon. I play Kareem Hunt in fantasy with 16-point lead, so he will have a master cap. I feel like Chiefs are the sharp side, and all the sharps get burned. Interesting. Okay. Well, this is my play. Derek Carr lower than passing touchdowns. It's not a great payout. That's fine. I have no choice. Bub Means, that's a fucking fun name. I have no choice but to trust Cam. His money hasn't let me down yet. And then somebody give me a Chiefs prop, please. Somebody give me a Chiefs prop. I don't really know that I want. Carson Steele. Ooh, Carson Steele after being in the doghouse. Oh, no, I like that. Who said longest reception? That's the play. Chiefs plus 140 to score on their first drive. Yeah, well, you know what, Daddy? I like that. I got cute with that and did it with Wisconsin. I loved Wisconsin's offense. I bet Wisconsin to score on their opening drive. They went 3 and out, 3 incomplete passes in a row. You cannot make this up. And then they scored on the next 3, and they finished the game with 49 points. So that doesn't always work out. But, yeah, I like it. Boom, I'm in. Worthy rushing yards? Okay, Chiefs been coming through on all these primetime games. Everyone bitches about the refs on repeat. Now people going to bet the Chiefs and they fold. But, Cam, I don't see people betting the Chiefs personally. Oh, I don't know, Jim. Don't take Steele, man. Okay, I'm just saying. You know what, Daddy? I like that. Did I say that? Did I say, you know what, Daddy? I like that? Oh, because his name is Daddy Road. Shut the fuck up. Yeah, I got to change the name, man. Hey, that's on you. That's not on me. I'm just reading. All right, I'm just reading. By the way, if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit subscribe to the page. We are officially at 404 subscribers on the YouTube page. Let's get to a fucking 1,000. Let's get to 1,000. If you're watching on Twitter, like that shit. Like the post, retweet the tweet. It's not going to hurt you. It's not going to hurt you. Nobody can see your fucking likes anyways. If you're watching on Twitch, hit the follow button. I got the Underdog fantasy link up there if you want to sign up, 50% deposit match. Put whatever you want in, you get 50%. All right, this is it. What's up? Hey, boss. Carr with Raiders threw for 241 yards, 263, 260 in the last 3 minutes. I don't think anything changed tonight. I think it's to beat this team. Okay, fair enough. More Corp, DJ, more Corp. Hey, give me a break. All right, if you listen to a podcast, people spend fucking 10 minutes doing, what do they call it, housekeeping? I don't do any of it. I haven't done any of it for years, all right? Time is against me. I got to do, what's that? Work smarter, not harder. I've never been a good work smarter, not harder person in my life. I'm just a hard worker. Buddy posting Carr with Henry Rugg stats. I'm going to, love that. Why are we getting a fuck Greg from Nightbot? I don't know why, but I love that. This is my entry. I like it. I'm tailing Cam and I'm tailing whoever said Xavier Worthy. Chiefs money line has to be in everybody's parlay. Dude, you think so? Even with the Niners and the Seahawks going down last night? I don't. I'll tell you what, though. I can't wait to watch Baker Mayfield play football again. I can't fucking wait. Okay, this is my entry. I'm in. I love it. I love it. How do I play it? What am I doing here? What's going on? Play. Why can't I play it? Oh. I'm not doing a flex anymore, by the way. These payouts are bullshit. I don't like the flex payouts. I've actually already told Underdog that nothing's going to change. It's not an Underdog thing. It's just the daily fantasy sports. This is what they do. These fucking stupid payouts. Prize Picks does it too. It's not their fault. It's just the way it is. I don't like it. So I'm going with this 3 correct. I'm not doing the flex anymore. It's horse shit. Give me $50 to win 217. Half a unit. Tell me that can't hit. Come on. One fucking time. Can that hit? I think it can fucking hit one time. I can't find my DGen Gambly hat, and I'm very sad about it. That's it. That is unfortunate. I am out, but I am getting more hats. I actually have to fucking submit that order with one of our followers who owns a hat company in Texas. We're getting upside down degenerate. Apparently, the kids love that shit, and then a black DGen hat. They look great. They'll be ready in about 3 weeks. No, tell me it can hit. Don't do a streak. What's a streak? I don't know what a streak is. I need to invest in a DGen hat. I'm all out of them. Everybody liked the trucker, Richardson trucker when I was selling them last year. Those sold out. It will hit. Thank you. Congrats on your Tatis home run ticket, Corn. Yeah, that's a really good one. Someone said it, 11 picks in a row. What? No, Real Sharps had Higashioka home run. Okay. 1,000 times your money? No, I don't really streak through the quad. Yeah, I don't know what that is. All right, we're going to talk puck. Jovan is almost ready. I have to go take a piss. So let's get our beautiful hockey puck in here. I lean the Chiefs. I lean the Chiefs. I like the under. I'll probably have a game script, something starting to percolate. I have Derek Carr lower than 1.5 touchdown passes. Tailing Cam is money on Juwan Johnson, higher than receiving yards. And I'm tailing somebody else, I forget who, on the Xavier Worthy, higher than longest reception. Okay, I'm going to take a quick break, and we will be right back. Please do not go anywhere. I'll play a little music for you. Where is the Feeding the Ducks? Here it is. And all right, we are back. That didn't take long. Stop your bitching, please. And it is time for some puck talk. Are we locking in? That puck is hot. Yep. Hold on 1 second. Shit, I forgot to stop the fucking music. There we go. Boom. Just sold it on Prop Stop for an iced coffee and a multiple bar. Yep. How about them boys? Oh, geez, please stop. Jovan, I see you in queue. You ready to go, or do you need a second still? All good? Good morning, Sarah. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. Doing good. You changed up your jersey rotation in the background. What do we got? Zach Lau. Or no,
This
sorry.
is an old one, but
yeah,
it's just a different one for the day.
I was going to say, what the fuck is Zach Allen doing up there at this point in the season? But I forgot he did come through for you. Congratulations on your goat wheel in MLB. That was great. We got to do I'm assuming you're going to do one for the NHL.
Yeah, a couple of those. I mean, not that I'm not trying to actually hit it, but I have some guys that I just want to take that are my guys that are going to be in it, which maybe we can talk about in a second. But.
Yeah, I would love to. I have some guys as well that I'm thinking of, and it's really not anything that I have really come up with in terms of like research. It's more so just what's lingered from last year that I saw. One will be a little bit of a homer play, but we'll talk about that a little bit more. So first things first, with the NHL season, I guess technically already having started, but the puck drops tomorrow night. I've been very late to my research, but I did as much catching up as I could of this weekend, yesterday, and a little bit this morning. I messaged you. I've got 3 to 4 teams that I really want to hone in on. There's some like the top dogs I don't really care for. There's some bottom feeders I don't really care for. But there's a couple teams I will talk about that I want to fade and bet on in the futures market, whether that's over their point total, maybe to make playoffs, get a little cheeky. But something I want to emphasize and tell the listeners is with the betting the way it is nowadays and what's offered, I really like in-season bets, whether it's an alt, win total, point total, or again make playoffs. I like to get a little bit of like a 7 to 10 game sample size, and I've done this in the past and had pretty good success with it. You guys remember I faded the fuck out of the Senators. A couple of years ago, I went pretty heavy. I really faded Peter DeBoer, coach of the Knights, to miss the playoffs at a nice like plus 380 price. So we'll definitely, whatever I end up coming with, I'll probably be lighter on the preseason futures market with what I go in with. But Jovan, very curious to hear what you have in store. Feels like you're more prepared than I am. What is your, and if you're not, that's fine too. W transparency. But what is your, I kind of want to lead it off with this, if that's all right. A team that I was talking to you about is kind of like last year's New York Rangers, where a team that's had a lot of hype, a lot of expectations, kind of always let everybody down. And then last season, I felt like as a Rangers fan, finally nobody was talking about the New York Rangers. And turns out they had their best regular season. They won the President's Trophy. Still flamed out in the playoffs, which is kind of to be expected. But I was asking you, who do you think that this year's New York Rangers team could be, in the sense that nobody's really talking about them, but they could come out and have a very good season in terms of wins and whatnot. You may have that team in mind.
Definitely do have that team. And
I love that.
I can't say nobody's talking about them. It's not similarly the case because they did have one of the biggest offseason additions, I would say. But I think it's the Bolts. So I think everybody's kind of writing off that team because they're not deep, or not as deep as they are like in their cup years. But when you look at what they did last year, and I was the first one to say I was not buying in last year because They weren't deep. Like Vasi came back from the back surgery, never really looked like himself. Like the guys were tired. There was really nothing going on with really those final like 3 lines of the team. So it was really top heavy. And then what do you know? They ran into probably the worst matchup you could get in the entire playoffs, not just because they played the Cup champions, but the Panthers are, I would say, the deepest team, or we're the deepest team in the NHL. But now it feels like everybody's kind of off the train because we saw Vasi be human. Like the roster is not as complete as the Cup years. They lost Stamkos, obviously, which I love Stamkos, but it was kind of addition by subtraction. He was kind of holding them in purgatory because they couldn't really rebuild the roster until they got him off the books. So as much as that one kind of sucked to see, coming and getting Gensel, who I think is going to have a ridiculous year, and then slightly being able to rebuild like the rest of the roster past that, I think that's a slam dunk. So like nobody's really expecting the Bolts to take the step up. Like I don't know that I've heard a good thing about any team in the East not named the Canes. Like the Rangers and going to be up there. Like it's kind of nobody really expecting a team that disappointed somewhat in the East to make any sort of jump other than the Devils, who are probably one of the trendier teams in all of hockey coming into this year, and the Predators, of course. But I think the Bolts are that team that's going to be up there and have a year like previous years.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but the end of last season, I think the Lightning made a real strong push going into the playoffs. They were pretty down, like up and down, but kind of more down for Lightning fans' expectations and the team's expectations, or standards, I should say. But didn't they finish the season really well? And then like people started to maybe talk about them as somebody who could make some noise in the East because you were also getting a pretty good number. But like you said, they first round against the Panthers was just a nightmare for them, especially with they've been fucking bullying the Panthers in the playoffs for so many years. So you know the Panthers are out for revenge. But yeah, I even remember some of my friends were texting me and were like, I'm taking the Lightning to win the East. It was like 10, 11, 12-1 or something. But the reason I'm bringing that up is this. You mentioned Gensel, who they got after the trade deadline last year. So didn't they also make 1 or 2 other moves and acquire new pieces?
Yes, they made a couple, and Gensel was off season, not trade deadline. But the trade deadline, I think I talked about you with this last year too, because I got a couple defensemen like Matt Dumba. It was like they were kind of waving the white flag without people realizing it, because the offense was great, even though it was top heavy. I mean, they couldn't defend to save their lives. Like Sergachev was injured most of the year, somehow came back and played, and now he's gone, of course. So like everything was super thin, but they could score just because they had the one line. So they went out and got defensemen that can't defend and just said, we're going to try and outshoot teams. That's the only way that we're going to contend in games, because Vasi also wasn't great when he came back from the surgery either. So like everybody was super excited about all those additions. And I was like, I don't know why, because like none of these guys are solving issues. They're just kind of compounding the issues. So like now, I'm not going to say they came up here and solved the problems completely, because like I said, they're still kind of thin even on the back, but these are guys that they've been excited about. And I feel like in the full off season, I don't know many teams, especially when you have a top heavy line with all of those guys that have played so much hockey, that could have used a little longer of an off season for a playoff team than the Lightning.
Yeah, very well said. I think where did Stamkos go? Did he go to Nashville?
Yeah.
So Nashville also got Marchessault from fucking Vegas. So that's why you said them and the Devils. I know the Devils hype. I feel it a lot. And I have felt it for even last year too, being in New York. But the Nashville Predators are loading up. Maybe a little too much, I think, especially with Stamkos being kind of the back end. I'm not buying it. Sounds like you're not buying it either.
Not really, because I mean, they spent a lot of money, but in terms of like production, they're not adding all that much. I just don't think it's going to fit either as well as people think too, because like Stamkos plays the same role that like Forsberg plays, and like there's a lot that I think is going to have to happen very quickly for them to be that team immediately.
Gensel 40+ goals at 3-1 is insane value. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah. I think the ceiling is extremely high for Gensel this year. I mean, obviously playing on that line with Point Kucherov, you can do literally whatever you want, but he's going to have a monster year.
The Lightning total points right now on DraftKings, 98.5. 150
half a point higher than they had last year, which I think is pretty interesting.
I do think it's interesting as well. I mean, there's no way well, I hate saying this, but there's just no way Vasilevsky plays as bad as he did last year.
No. And I mean, I think he wasn't healthy. And I think we talked about that towards the end of the season too, because he started to string together a couple good games when the Lightning were starting to get rolling. And I kind of told you to pump the brakes. I know we disagreed on some games throughout that when they're starting to get hot during the end. And I was like, I still don't trust him because he doesn't look like himself. He's not healthy. And obviously the defense didn't help him because they weren't healthy or good either. But yeah, now that he's had a full off season, I know everybody says this coming into every regular season, whether you're a hockey player, baseball player, football player, but he says he feels good as ever. And I think that's important for him. So I'm pretty excited for that.
So on the futures market, looking at the Vezina Trophy, he is 12-1. And looking at that list, you've got Igor Shesterkin, which everybody always gives me shit for glazing on my favorite teams, but a couple years ago hit Igor 20-1, Vezina, no big deal. He is now 6-1 at the favorite. Swayman 70-1, Hellebuck 750, Saros 8-1, Sorokin 9-1, Demko 10-1, Ottinger 11, Vasilevsky is, I feel like that's some value at 12-1. If you can get him coming back and being healthy. Okay. Yeah. So the Devils, didn't they trade it for Markstrom? That's who they have in net now. So Markstrom is right behind Vasilevsky at 14-1. And then my guy down there, Aiden Hill, whose career I ruined last season, is 25-1. We'll talk about him a little bit later. Okay. So if you're going to be betting the Bolts, I think they're also 20-1 to win the Stanley Cup. I don't know what they are to make the playoffs. And I told you the point total is at 98.5. What are you going to do?
It's that point total. That's conveniently just a half higher after what they did last year. And I mean, I just like everything about this team. I also like, I like everything at every level. And that's not just a fan talking in me, because the last couple of years I've bet against them a hell of a lot more than I've bet on them. And I disagree with that. I mean, Gensel, really? I think is going to produce, but you know who I also think is going to produce? The guy who everybody is down on after a pretty mediocre couple of seasons now, and he just got named the captain after Stamkos has left, Victor Hedman. I think there's a lot still left in the tank that people don't realize. And another guy who's been hindered by injuries last couple of years playing through them and really needed this offseason and addressed a couple of issues too. So I feel like him, especially having a little more freedom in the back, has been like the key of what they're going to do this offseason. I think there's plenty still left in the tank for him.
I just looked up Victor Hedman's age because I was wondering how up there he's getting, but 33 is still a number where you can produce. You know, I don't know. I wouldn't.
We've been talking about just like, because the top of that line is it's always been so dynamic that he's felt, I don't know, a little left out. Felt like his role is kind of strange on a game-to-game basis, and now not like the Cooch is in the center of like PP1 and the top line and everything, but they're giving him the keys, not just because he's the captain, but because they don't want all the playmaking to be on Kucherov. So I think he's another guy, if you're looking for season-long investments, not a bad idea either.
Very interesting. Okay. McDonough is a good Sergachev replacement. He knows their system already and still has some life in him. Yep. WX New York Rangers. We love making trades. Shitty trades on that note with the Lightning and the Carolina Hurricanes. Gensel 40-goal season. Yeah, Putin, that's what somebody pointed out, 3-1, that Jovan said he likes. Oh, yeah, Kobe, you're just seconding that comment. Oh, I should read this, or just in case anybody listens to this in audio. Stamkos power play merchant and a product of Kucherov past few years. Gensel is a play driver. He's 100 times better. Interesting. I'll tell you also, what, I love people. Go ahead.
I was just going to say he's also, a ridiculous two-way improvement. Like, again, I love Stamkos, but he could not give a shit on the defensive side of the puck, partially because he physically couldn't, but once you got the puck on the other side of the ice, it was 4-on-5. So like Gensel adds a little grit on there that I like too.
Okay. Okay. Good start. I don't have issue with people betting on their teams when they are realistic, and I feel like you got a pretty good sense of the Lightning. You weren't overly high on them and confident for no reason, and you kind of brought it up. But I remember specifically the point in the season where I thought the Lightning were going to get it right, and it was my first POD, which I always do jokingly, but I did make it, I think, a 3-unit play on the Lightning to beat the was it Ottawa? No, I said I remembered it. No, it was the Flyers. It was the Flyers. I was like, oh no, did the Ottawa Senators take me down? No, it was the Flyers, and it was after they beat the Devils. I think the Bolts had like 2 really bad losses at home. Then they went and beat the Devils, and I just thought it was a gritty win. And I was like, the Bolts are back, and you were like, not yet, not yet. And the fucking Bolts came out and they lost to the Flyers, and I was so pissed off. But yeah, so I'll probably be tailing you on that in some way, shape, or form. I don't hate a Vasilevsky look. I am a big Vazzy fan. Let's talk about the Ottawa Senators because, as I've mentioned, this is a team that I didn't see it with, and they really were only on my radar because I did have a much better pulse for whatever reason last season. I think I just maybe wasn't as entrenched with like football and baseball, but I listened to more chatter and talk about off-season hype for certain teams. And the Senators and the Red Wings have like been kind of cute the last 2 years. And I wasn't quite there with the Senators. And when I watched I was like, they just don't have it. But this is a team that I think I want to bet on this year. And I think you and I might agree on this. Big news, signing Linus Ullmark. So they finally have a goaltender. I feel like this team hasn't had a goaltender since, I really don't know when. Maybe they had Cam Talbot for like a minute.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. Ranger legend. But I'll tell you what I liked. I started to sweat the Ottawa Senators a little bit not making the playoffs because there was a little streak last year they put together where they won some games where I was like, oh, fuck. And the talk of the town in Ottawa was Shane Pinto beans. I don't really know where this guy came from, who he is. I still don't even know what he looks like. But I will tell you this. I was sweating my dick off. I also very much like Brady Tkachuk. That guy is a dog of dogs. And they have fucking Stitzel, however you pronounce it correctly. So they've got some pieces. Now this team, who burned everybody getting cute with them last year, has a few of their core pieces that I like still intact, and a goaltender worth a shit. I think I want to buy in on the Ottawa Senators. So how to do that, I'm not totally sure. But if I'm looking here at their point total, 90.5 over -120 seems a little high. But you know what? You're probably not going to get a discount. They had 86 last year. You're not going to get any sort of discount on them when they make such an upgrade at such an important position. So I think I'm in. And what say you on the Ottawa Senators?
Yeah, I think I'm in too, but I think I'm going to wait to get there. You talked about mid-season investments. That's probably what I'm going to do and see if I can get like a playoff number. Maybe after they start kind of slow. I get the same vibe with the Senators as last year, except I think that run's going to come a little sooner and maybe do a little more for them.
I don't think Ullmark is that great. Definitely helped. He had a great defensive-minded Bruins team. Think he will struggle on the Sens like he did with the Sabres. Interesting take. Okay, so sorry, I missed the second part of what you said, but you're going to wait till the season starts?
Yeah, I want to see them for a little bit because I do think like there's a run in there somewhere, and I think it can be a little longer and drawn out and actually mean something in comparison to what they did towards the end of the season last year. But I'm definitely in. I think on a game-to-game basis, I feel like the story of this NHL season is I think everybody kind of has the consensus that like the bottom of the league is getting better. So there's not really a team other than maybe one or two that really everybody thinks is going to bottom out. So
right.
Like when you get a team that maybe is struggling a little bit and going against some of like the upper teams or best teams in each conference, like bet them. Senators probably going to be one of those teams.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, I know that this comment, the Senators get hype every year and never do anything. I'm wondering now if this is a team that's not going to have the hype, but maybe I'm wrong because they do have a goaltender. It's just that everybody got cute with them beforehand. Because I think they're
getting a little bit.
Fuck. A little bit. All right. All right. Let's talk about a team that I want to fade. Actually, wait. Do you have another team before I give you one? Who else is making your list of bet on or bet against?
I mean, bet against. You know who I think on that same vein, because we think that I think everybody knows or thinks the Ducks are going to be better, like the Sharks are going to be better, all the shit teams in the league are going to be better. Everybody likes Utah this year too. So I feel like you got to find some middling teams, some teams that are around that playoff cut last year that are really going to bottom out. I think one of those teams with that potential is the Wild. I don't like the Wild this year at all.
That is not who I expected you to say.
Yeah, I think it could get weird really quickly. And I think, first of all, like you have the Fleury retirement tour, which I hate teams where that's going on. And then the goaltending situation, I guess really extends to the whole team. Like you have the Fleury retirement little party for a year. You have Gustafsson, who's going to be in net, who I don't even know what the situation is. Like if he wants to be there, and then they have Wallstead too. Like I don't think they want to bring up really at any point, kind of like Dustin Wolf and the Flames last year. And then you have a very injury-riddled team. You have Kaprizov, who they don't know if he wants to be there either, and he's got 1 year left on his deal. So if things get ugly, he's probably going to be a pretty hot name on the trade block come the deadline time. That team scares the shit out of me because it feels like one wrong thing combined with a Fleury retirement tour, and feels like the bottom could fall out. So I'm pretty low on the Wild. I feel like that's the team in the West that, I don't know, they always show up and you think they're going to be competitive and hang around the playoffs. I don't know if that's the case this year.
Wow. I haven't heard anybody say a bad thing about the Minnesota Wild for, honestly, legitimately, maybe never. I mean, even like 10 years ago, the Wild were pretty badass. And they would like them in the Blackhawks series in the playoffs were awesome, but the Blackhawks would always get the best of them. But I always wanted to believe that the Wild, like I always like to find a team in the 20-1 range. And I finally hit it with like the St. Louis Blues in the Binnington year. But the Wild were like always my 20-1 darling. That's like, fuck, I think they can be that team. And they never really were.
I feel like in the West, like it's always the Wild and the Jets are just teams that you can never really get too high on, but you can never really get too low on. This year, not only is it the Fleury retirement tour, but the Parise and Suter money that the Wild have had locked up for years.
Yes.
This is, I think, the last, correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, but I believe this is the last year before they get that off the books. So this is, I wouldn't say this is kind of a punt year for them, but it feels like there's a lot of things going on where, I don't know, like the trade deadline, I feel like they're going to be active if they're not really in the playoff discussion come that point.
Feelings on Jesper Wallstead. Wild made no. Ryan, by the way, first time chatter. Thanks for being here for the NHL talk. Appreciate it. Twizzy says the Wild are irrelevant. Wild made no offseason moves. Other teams around them made big improvements.
That's what I'm saying. Because I feel like if that team was really serious about contending, they would have made some moves, especially with, I don't know, like a somewhat aging core, a very injury-prone core, and then it feels like they're in purgatory for a year because they have the Fleury situation, then they get money off the books, and then Wallstead's probably the future for them. So I feel like they're really looking to next year and feel like they're going to be a seller come the deadline too, which would certainly help fading them.
Jovan, I like this. Also, their point total is 93.5. They scored 100, or they recorded 103 points last year. 10-point drop. My favorite Wild player, another former Ranger, Matt Zuccarello. He was actually my favorite Ranger since I've been a Rangers fan. 37 years old. Still looks like he's projected to be on the top line. That ain't great, Bob. Kind of like what you're throwing down there. I oddly almost like this take more than I like the Lightning take. Maybe because it's like, I just haven't heard anybody really say anything bad about the Wild as long as I've really been following hockey, but I'm sure there have been. So don't roast me in chat. Okay. 93.5 point total could be on the under on that one. Here's a team that I want to fade, and I don't know where you stand on them. I kind of threw it out there to you yesterday. But the Philadelphia Flyers, I think that I have Flyers fatigue. And I think that there is a like how you're saying with the Minnesota Wild, like a team that's due to bottom out. I kind of think the Wild could be due to just bottom out. Let's see where I always like to look at where teams are projected on the Athletic. By the way, if you are looking for hockey research, I know there's a lot of stuff out there. I don't really have a great podcast I listen to. People have asked me in the DMs, but like I listen to Spin Chicklets, but that's just more so for entertainment. It's not like really in-depth shit. I like the Athletic season preview for these teams. I think the write-ups are great. I don't always necessarily agree or with everything they say about certain players, although I read the Rangers one this year and they finally shat on Jacob Trouba, and I was very happy to see that. But the Flyers are projected 24th in terms of rankings, 81.9 points. And then let's see what DraftKings has. DraftKings has 85.5. So in this case, I would agree with the Athletics projection of 82 points where it's at 85.5. I don't know. I just look at this roster and it doesn't really do anything for me. Sean Coutier, Travis Konecny, Owen Tippett, Cam York, goalie Samuel Urson, like I just don't really see these guys making any noise. On that note too, I guess should also tell you what they ended up doing last year. Not great, 75 points. So I guess there is a little bit of improvement expected from this team. That's a little concerning, I guess. I don't know. I'm not there with the Flyers, and they ended the season last year pretty poorly, 3-7, which is just something that I kind of I don't know if they were in the playoff race, but something that I always kind of look at too, how a team ended their season. Jovan, any thoughts on the Flyers?
Yeah, they're a weird team because,
Yeah, that's true. I am forgetting Mikheyev, right?
Yeah, that's I don't know, maybe the main attraction for them at this point. It's just
Right.
I don't know that I trust like the development of that, especially like not even with the guy that's going to be managing that team, with the whole coaching staff. It's like feels like they're in a weird spot. I do get a little like Caps vibes from them, which I mean, maybe not good if we're comparing that to all of last year, but like to where they're going to surprise some people for a little bit, and then they'll have a rough stretch at some point. The goaltending is super scary because I feel like we saw the best of that last year from the guys that were, not getting arrested for out of their goaltending room.
Mm-hmm.
So like I can only assume that we're going to see something a little Gresham type this year. It's just they're a weird team. I feel like those middling teams in the Metro scare the piss out of me.
In what sense do they scare you?
I don't know. I just feel like it's going to be very competitive in the middle to bottom of the Metro because, like, here's the consensus, I guess, because I haven't heard a good thing about many teams in the East, not named the Canes, who are in the Metro, and then the Devils are getting off-season hype. Like, the Rangers are always going to be up there. From there, it feels like it's kind of mid, and I feel like it's going to be very competitive between those teams, whether that ends up being good or bad between the Caps, like the Isles. People think the Penguins are going to suck. Like, I think CBJ can be a decent bit better. It's just that, but those games between those teams, I feel like are going to be hell.
That's a really good point. I mean, if you're going to fade a team, you certainly want them to be in a competitive, I guess, if you're going to fade a team, you want them to be surrounded by other teams that they're going to lose to. And if you have teams like you're saying that are more mid, that's opportunities for them to win. The one thing is that I can't really get over is the fact that John Tortorella, like, his shtick always wears out.
I agree.
The only thing is, I was wondering because I want to look up. I'm like, well, how long has he been in Philadelphia? I forgot that he took a year off, but he didn't coach from 2021 to 22, but he has been there 2 seasons. They did improve their point total. They went from 75 points for first year to 87. I guess. Does that sound right? 87 points? I don't know why. Maybe I got the wrong numbers on the other one then. Let me see. Points. Flyers. It's telling me they have 75 points. Maybe that's wrong then, looking at Wikipedia. Anyways, I'm not really a Tortorella guy, so I think that that would also be a reason I would lean into it. But you make up a pretty good point. Okay.
It's not that I'm all on the Flyers train, because I do think like if I'm gonna look at a team and say Michkov's going to be the main attraction, and yes, 100%. The goalie situation is disgusting, and that could let them bottom out pretty much alone. But the Tort leading the charge of a new hot rookie is just not something that I think anybody wants to see.
Yeah, I agree. That's enough for me. You're right. At the end of the day, I agree with this. I don't really trust the goaltending to bail him out. I don't trust the young guy with a coach like Tortorella. If this team starts, like, I don't know, 10-17, it's going to get ugly. So I think I'm going to do it. Mikov over 48.5 points is a lock. I do hate the L word, but I see what you're saying. Real quick from Twizzy, New Jersey Devils are my favorite future by a long shot. Well, Twizzy, before I read any more, I'm going to tell you that I think that you're not alone with this. The Devils are a very hyped and trendy and loved team. Lowest odds to win the division, and like top 5 to win the cup after missing the playoffs last year. Also getting a coach in Sheldon Keefe, who is on a revenge tour and is the shortest odds for coach of the year. Thoughts? I am not going to be putting money against the New Jersey Devils. I do respect the talent in New Jersey, but I'm not. I just can't also go along for the ride with the Devils. So I'm going to sit this one out. Jovan, are you doing anything with the Devils?
No, I mean, I've seen that way too many times to get invested myself. I don't know, like, situationally, I'm definitely going to find a lot of spots to fade them, but I do want to see how they come out. I just think the the whole coach situation when teams are going, I don't know, interconference, it always gets overblown to be a little better than it is. And I know they added so much talent. It's just I could not be hearing anything more like of Devils and Canes. So I cannot do it.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Okay, I think I have my team that I'm going to be invested in, and I don't know about how invested. But I mentioned this to you. I don't really think you had anything too good or bad to say about them in our brief conversation, but I think I'm kind of in on the Vegas Knights this year. And what I almost like is that it seems like people are scared to get there with the Knights after losing March Salt and maybe getting a little bit older with Stone and how bad Aiden Hill looked last year. I think that I'm a big Tomas Hertl guy. I was when he was on the Sharks and the Sharks were making some noise. I loved me some Sharks, Tomas Hertl. But I like the addition of Tomas Hertl, and I think what I saw, now I'm no advanced stats or metrics guy, so maybe I'm wrong. Jack Eichel, if this guy stays healthy, he was a fucking, what's the word you guys like to use all the time? Demon. He was a demon. Jack Eichel, to me, could be on a fucking fuck you tour to the NHL this year. Because when it comes to the top superstars, I don't think anybody really thinks of Jack Eichel. Rightfully so. If he stays healthy, I want to bet on this guy. I want to bet on him over goals. I want to bet on the Knights. The Knights were, let's see. So the Athletic projects them to have 95.9 points. Their point total is set at 97.5. And last season, the Golden Knights had 111 points. They had a shit ton of points. Now, I also think Mark Stone is injured, so I don't know if he's expected to be there at the start of the season. But they definitely lost some dudes. They're definitely getting a little bit older. But I don't know, man. I'm kind of in on on the Knights. The back end of the defense for me. Petrangelo's getting older. I think they lost Alec Martinez. I don't see his name anywhere. Braden McNabb, Shea Theodore, been there for a little while. This guy, Noah Hannafin. I don't know. People are kind of like hot and cold on this dude. But it's really going to come down to Aiden Hill showing up and being a lot better of a goalie than he was last year, which I am kind of an Aiden Hill guy. Maybe I was just being a prisoner of the moment of that fucking cup run because he was swallowing every puck that came his way. Maybe that was overachieving. I think I'm in. I don't know where you stand on the Knights. Can you talk me off of them?
Can't do that necessarily because I still like the VGK and I think they can just be that team. It's just I'm so unsure of the fact that we haven't seen the best of Aiden Hill. That's the one question I have. And I know you're a Aiden Hill guy, so I'm probably talking to the wrong person saying that, but I'm not so sure we haven't. That's probably I don't know about my biggest concern with them, but it's one of my concerns. I think that some of the guys they've lost there too are bigger losses than I think some people realize. Like one guy we can talk about over in Seattle, I think is going to have a pretty big impact over there. But I don't know. They just seem like they're one of those teams that everybody's kind of forgetting about because they lost some guys and lost some power and lost in the first round, even though that was a Western Conference final pretty much, I would say, and quality matchup in the first round. And yes, Samsonov is a good backup. I'm worried that if we see really bad Aiden Hill come out, it's going to have to be a lot more on Samsonov's shoulders, which I don't know if he can take on that role.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's a legitimate point. I have been wrong about goalies in the past, by the way, as I tout my Vezina Igor Shesterkin award winner. I also may or may not have had Jack Campbell to win that award as well. I don't know if Jack Campbell is even in the NHL anymore. I thought he was going to be the next big thing. So real quick, season points for Eichel, 74.5 and 34.5 goals. If I were to do some sort of season-long entry in the NHL, I am going to be putting Eichel in here. And then Tomas is 24.5 goals, 59.5 points. I don't know, just two dudes. I think they're going to be aggressive. I think they're going to be scoring. And then if you can get 3 to 4 goals out of these guys, you got good goaltending on the back end. If I believe in Hayden Hill, I totally understand the concern, though, and the doubt there. But I'm glad Ryan mentioned Samsonov. With competent defense will be good, too. Yeah, that's the thing. Like VGK does have solid defenders.
They do, yeah.
So that's why I like Hayden Hill reminds me of Matt Murray, to be honest. Went on a historic cup run and hasn't really done much since. Yeah, that's actually a pretty good comparison. Jack Campbell is insane. Yeah, forget that I said that, please. Jack Campbell is putting fries in the bag. Okay, all right. Campbell's player assistance program. That's enough. Peep the Capitals. Oh boy, Capitals team. This is an interesting. I've had an interesting relationship with the Washington Capitals. They were a darling last year and now made a bunch of additions, and they're expected to regress. They were the luckiest team in 2 decades. I think they're going to stink this year. Jovan, any thoughts on the Washington Capitals? I got my coins fading them. I forget if it was last year or the season prior. I think I'm good on the Washington Capitals. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, they're one of those weird teams in the Metro Division that are kind of going to be in the middle, where it just feels like they're going to win games that they shouldn't and lose games that they shouldn't all at the same time. And I mean, they got a career little year out of whatever platoon they got from Darcy Kemper last year, and I don't know if you're going to see that. And what are you going to get from Lindgren or whoever comes out to be like the tandem in net, Logan Thompson, whoever it ends up being? I feel like the goaltending is definitely going to take a dip. I'll say that. And from that point on with the Caps, I don't know what you really expect, especially when you know they're going to be putting the focus on getting Ovi the record pretty much all season.
Yeah. That's enough for me. I want nothing to do with this team. Okay, let's see. Any other teams that you have in mind that you want to talk about that you might be investing in or against?
I haven't quite got here with this, but I know we talked about the Kraken briefly. I would not mind getting invested in the Kraken at all, because they're one of those teams that we definitely had our fair share of fades over the past, season. Last year was weird because they were getting really good goaltending for a stretch, then it fell off, and after that, the offense was absolutely pitiful to watch for a stretch of probably 3 months. And they put an emphasis all offseason on they want to be like this offensive juggernaut. They're going to play with pace. They're going to refix spacing issues and just try to outscore teams, which I think kind of works for them. And I think Matty Beniers is going to have a big year. Chandler Stevenson, I think, is such a great fit. I think that's the guy I was alluding to as a much bigger loss for VGK.
For Vegas. Yeah.
And people will realize, especially on the offensive side of the puck. And I feel like he fits perfectly in what the Kraken are starting to do. So I feel like that team is deeper. And they're one of the few teams that I can look at and say, I have this issue with what they did last year. And they addressed nearly every single one. It's I know they're getting a little bit of buzz coming into the season. They're one of the teams that are a little somewhat trendy that I'm willing to buy.
Interesting. I've liked the Seattle Kraken ever since they beat the Colorado Avalanche, and they were pesky and scrappy. Last year wasn't a great year for them, but I look at their roster and I like some of their guys. I like Tanev. I love Jared McCann. I guess the goaltending is a little questionable. Grubauer and Decord.
Yeah, I think they can take steps forward, though. I mean,
okay.
Grubauer that we saw for a bit, I mean, he was really, really bad at times.
Joey Decord season. Really?
I'm a sneaky Decord believer.
Really?
I think he can be decent.
No, Twizzy. Can anyone guess which team saw the largest point total increase of any? 12 points higher? No, I can't.
They're talking about what? They went over their point total?
No, probably like what
the number?
The odds number, maybe. Oh boy, you got Helly for Vezina fired up with the Joey Decord love. Penguins to make the playoffs at plus 130 is a great value in the Metro. Vegas has good management. Their GM has said they just want to keep the team good enough to get Ovi the goal record. Yeah, I'm out on the Caps. Okay, so the Seattle Kraken, if anybody is interested, they are at 87.5 point total, and this is a team that you know what? I've been referencing these fucking point totals, and it's given me the wrong season. I can't believe this the entire time. That's why I was fucking that up. So I'm really sorry for all the fake news for anybody who's been listening and paying attention. Yeah, I'm sorry. The Kraken had 81 points last year. Now they're at 87.5. So that is a 6-point increase. And okay, so the Senators had 78 last year. Who was the team that I was looking at? Oh, the Flyers. Let me go see. The Flyers had 87 points last year. Okay, fair enough. It's more than I expected. Yeah, that is crazy. I don't know why I defaulted to that whenever I looked at the NHL standings on NHL.com. Stupid-ass, jank-ass website. And then the Kraken point total, 87.5, 115 each way. All right, well, we have to talk about this team too because we hate to love them. Or maybe I just hate to love them. The Calgary Flames, who I think you kind of have a little bit of love for now because you've been on, I think, since last season, this Dustin Wolf train, which I don't know how it treated you. I didn't track it if it was good or bad. But I was a Calgary Flames investor last year, and I was unfortunate it did not come through. I really kind of like the Mets this season, which did come through. I just bet on them for the season, so I didn't have to bet on them night to night and live that misery and lose sleep over it. So at the end of the day, I think there are some things I like about this Calgary Flames team. They made some big moves last season. It was kind of like a blow it up type of thing because what they had was not working. I like that they did that rather than like, I don't know, you see the fucking Toronto Blue Jays like still try to keep their core working. And I know they traded Kikuchi. I understand that. But I like that they did that. And I think from what I understand, I could be wrong if anybody, puck knowers or Calgary people, I think they had like some young guys start to come up and maybe make a little bit of a name for themselves or at least try to. But I think that's kind of a spark for some of these guys. And the Jonathan Huberdeau trade from Florida, I guess, just really has not been working out well for them. And he's getting paid a lot of money. What I was reading in this article is that towards the end of the season, Huberdeau actually started to play very well. A couple of these other guys, I guess, like Mackenzie Weegar, the defenseman, has said that he wants to be there. So he's committed. Nazem Kadri as their starting center. I can't lie to you and tell you that I look at this roster and I'm like ecstatic. And I really know a lot of names or think there's a lot of talent. But I like trying to find these like scrappy teams that are slept on that nobody's really excited about or talking about. Calgary has an 81.5 point total. Now the under is heavily juiced. Probably the most juiced I see any under. 81.5 minus 125. And this is a team that last year got 81 points. Any thoughts on the Calgary Flames?
Yeah, I mean, I am a very big Dustin Wolf guy. And the part about the Flames is that I think we look at, like we were talking about, the teams that everybody thinks are going to be better from the bottom, the Sharks, the Blue Jackets. I mean, the Ducks are very popular too. The Flames seem to be the one team that I don't think anybody has any higher hopes for, like rightfully so. It's just, I think Dustin Wolf's going to be really good. The issue with him is he's like never had a chance to really take a hold of an NHL net because they put him in really bad situations where Markstrom just basically didn't want to play and he was on his way out and they're dealing with a super hurt decor like at the time. And not that it's significantly better coming into this season. That's my one concern, but I feel like he's going to be one of those guys that sneakily keeps you in games, especially when you have the veterans at the top that you do. So the defense is very concerning for me. I will say that. That's probably the only thing that holds me off of getting invested season long or being super excited about doing so. But I feel like they're going to be a really good dog to bet in certain spots, just like we, I guess, did a little bit last year.
I like that. I think that's a very respectable take and probably the smartest approach and way to handle a team like the Calgary Flames. Maybe I will think twice about betting on them.
Going into next year, I think that's when they're going to be able to fully spend in the offseason, and that's when I think they can have like their Kraken Linsanity run. So I feel like they're a year away. This year is like a focus on getting Dustin Wolf starts in net and hope he's the guy. I think he's going to be the guy, and then they'll kind of figure out the shape of that team because really other than they have two defensemen that I would really rely on. The rest of them are young, inexperienced, so maybe they're getting a little time too. By the end of the season, maybe they'll be settled into their role, but I don't know. It's probably tough for them out of the gates, and then next year is the year.
Okay. The most corp future this is the Habs over point total. People in this city talk like they think they can make the playoffs. Twizzy, from the brief research that I have done for the NHL last night, there seems to be a lot of Canadians love. I would second that. I don't know that I have any interest in getting involved. Do you have any thoughts on the Canadians?
I have some thoughts. I don't know. They're a weird team. Another kind of like the Predators where you're bringing in guys that are playing the same exact role. So I feel like it's going to be, I don't want to put like an exact time on it, but they're going to have to figure some stuff out in the regular season. There's guys that I like, of course. Everybody thinks it's going to be a big year for Cole Caulfield, just like every season. And I don't disagree. Like Slavkovsky is a guy that I can certainly get down with too. It's just, I feel like there's a lot of moving pieces with them early. Mm-hmm. So they're one of the teams that you would think is going to make the jump, especially with the big offseason addition, and it's probably going to take some time. Yeah, the injury now like puts it into a weird spot too, because he's expected to come in and make an immediate impact and then get their footing underneath them playing together. But now you don't really have that chance.
Yeah. Habs are 1 or 2 years away. I think that's fair. Red Wings and the drought. I was on the Wings last year. I think they came through. Did they go over their point total? They did. They went over their point total. I think it was like 86.5. They got there with 91. I'm good on the Wings. Good on the Wings. But I do think they have some exciting pieces, and I kind of like their team. Jovan, it's noon. I'm going to shut it down, and thank you for hanging out. But I have one last question. Or actually, not really a question, but something I want to point out to the chat. As a New York Rangers fan, I am not going to be investing on the team, point total, playoffs, or anything like that. However, my outlook is they got a lot of their guys from last year coming back this year. There's definitely some question marks. I am not overly enthused in terms of their success. Their bar is very high. It's always high. I'm not going to put money on them. Igor looked terrible to start the season last season. I think he's going to be a lot better from start to finish. But the player that I am certainly most excited about, and I don't care that the league knows about it either, I'm going to be, if I do a season-long entry or something, I'm going to be putting him in, and I actually might even bet him straight, Alexis Lafreniere. This was a dude who dude, if you are not familiar, which is totally fine if you're not, but the New York Rangers had the number 1 and the number 2 draft pick in like back-to-back years because the league is rigged, obviously. But they took Capo Caco and Alexis Lafreniere. As a fan, I thought they both were complete and total busts. As of right now, I only think that about Capo Caco. Even though Caco has like at times like shown a little bit of improvement, I would have traded both of them for a fucking ham sandwich, and I'm not kidding. I'm very happy that they have hung on to Lafreniere, and the development finally got there after like 2 years of doing nothing. He looked awesome last year. He looked like a fucking stud and a superstar, potentially. I'm not saying Connor McDavid level, but potentially in the making. I would be betting on him probably points, 64.5, goals or 29.5. I would be betting on him. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yep, 64.5 points. Points over Alexis Lafreniere season. That would be my Rangers bet if anybody gave a shit. Twizzy says he loves it, DGen. Thank you.
Yeah.
Contract year. Yep, good point. Jovan, any other players before we wrap it up? And again, thank you for your time. Any players that you're focusing on or targeting?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge Kirill Marchenko guy. He's like probably bad example because I know he was shit this year, but like the Will Benson type guys of like just love for I don't know. I would say it's for a reason, but a lot of people would say no apparent reason. I love Marchenko, and I think he's going to have a big year. Obviously, like the Gaudreau situation makes it a little weird because, he was great on that line and a huge playmaker for him. But I feel like he's going to be kind of the alpha on that line now and for that offense right now. So, like, he took a big step last year. He was amazing. And I think for CBJ, they're going to need him to be super aggressive pretty early on in the season, too. And I feel like I have to mention this too, because it's kind of maybe by the time we get here to this game next week, it's going to be a pretty popular narrative. But, all that went on with the Gaudreau situation, and they're going to honor him, of course. You know who their first home game's against?
No.
The defending Stanley Cup champions, Florida Panthers.
Wow.
So I can probably tell you who I'm going to be on. Feel scripted. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yep. Brock, RIP, Johnny Hockey, terrible tragedy. Yeah, I could see the Panthers maybe coming out to a little bit of a slow start. The one thing I would say for this about the Florida Panthers, while we're just on the topic, they're going to probably be that team that I guess they did this last year too. When they get hot, they're going to go on a run of winning like 14 of 16 games. And I keep telling myself at this every year because it always happens with teams in sports. And then you look back and you look and you're like, why didn't I just bet on this team every game? Like, you knew they were in the fucking zone. Lay it. Minus 150, minus 170. I don't give a fuck. The Panthers are going to be that team. They just have that group of guys, and they're a nightmare to play. But I don't mind that look. Last thing I will say, Utah, new team, they did not name themselves the Yetis. I thought that would have been the perfect hockey team. For that reason, I am out. I am probably going to be fading Utah strictly for that reason alone. I cannot believe the Yetis would have been such a good team. It's just the hockey club.
Well, they still have a chance to get there, right? Isn't the hockey club just like the football team and temporary, or is that?
I have no idea. No, I thought that was an option.
Oh, I thought it was a rental situation. Was it not?
All right, well, I'm gonna have to look this up before I press.
I could be totally off. I didn't even get that impression at all. If that's the case, what the fuck are we doing?
I'm pretty sure they're gonna pick a name still. Okay, DBT Design. Thank you very much. If that's the case, no, I think it's temporary. Okay, understood. Then I won't fade them. Then it better be the Yetis. Twizzy, with all due respect, I have Arizona Coyotes fatigue after betting on them last year and having such a good start, and then totally shitting the bet and losing like 13 games in a row. So I am out. You have thoughts on the Arizona Coyotes?
I mean, I like them. It's just I'll say this too, because it's been coming out in like small interviews and everything. Like they were so pissed off with how the last season was going because they were going around to like, I don't know, they're penning pitching in every sort of way. So like the whole experience, it was awful for them for the entire year in Arizona. Obviously, like you're going to Utah now, and it's a big step up, and they're going to be excited to play in front of a city that's super excited about hockey with actual fans, and you're not going to be staying in Motel 6s and practicing in super small arenas where everything's the smallest inconvenience. So like that, I feel like I kind of want to back that just from like a personal perspective of how these guys are going to go game to game. But team's kind of deep. I mean, I love Sergachev going into a team like that. And
yeah, that's a good point.
Kind of captaining the back.
I'm not buying the Nashville Predators hype either, by the way. I think we kind of touched on that. Okay, that's interesting. That's an interesting angle. All right, well, maybe I won't be totally out on the Arizona Coyotes. All right, I'm going to shut it down. Jovan, thank you very much for coming on. Appreciate it. Behind the Lines today, running at 12:30?
Yep.
All right, everybody, I'm sure you guys are already familiar, but go check out Jovan Behind the Lines, 12:30 Book It Sports Twitch channel. Thank you, sir. Have a great season. I'm sure when we have loaded slates like we did last year, we'll have you on again and go through them. Looking forward to it.
Sure.
All right, man. Good luck. Take it easy. Have a great week. Thank you, Jovan. Good puck talk. Thank you, Twizzy. Utah is a good place for hockey. They love lacrosse. Kind of goes hand in hand. Yep. JP, thank you. W's. All right, guys. I'm going to shut it down and get you out of here. I think, let's see, is Owner's Box live? Let's get you over to Owner's Box and tell those fuckers to, let's see if they're talking any puck. We got puck talk. I can't wait. Glorious day. Glorious time of year. Glorious time of year. Make yourself some chili, all right? I had 2 bowls and 2 Guinnesses yesterday. Let me tell you, it was fucking beautiful. It was great, all right? But I feel it in my gut. Although chili's not like, I don't think it's like unhealthy, not heavy with carbs. I didn't have it with rice or anything, although I love chili with rice. So what futures are you placing? As of right now, I'm going to be placing under on the Philadelphia Flyers, under on the Minnesota Wild, over on the Vegas Knights. I'm going to tail Jovan on the Lightning, over on the Lightning. And I'm going to take over Jack Eichel goals. I'm doubling down on the Knights. I'm going to take over Alexei Lafreniere points. And I'm going to take over on the Ottawa Senators. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to do it. I'll place them in, and I'll put them all in the Discord. If you're not already in the Discord, get in the Discord. Sorry, I'm probably being loud on the microphone right now. I apologize. Hop in the Discord. There's the link. You know my entry for MNF football. I'll post it later. I got to fucking hit one. I'm telling the guys in here. And if you're not already subscribed to the newsletter, don't forget, get in the newsletter. I will send a newsletter out maybe briefly with the picks in case anybody gives a fuck with a little brief write-up with my my NHL future props. So it's 12:10. I do have to shut it down. I have a few hours to fuck with, and then I got to run out. I got a 5 o'clock. I'll be back later tonight. And then I'm pretty corp tomorrow. I do have an early morning appointment tomorrow now that I think about it. I think I can still make the 10:30 board review. It's at 9 o'clock. I should be done at 10. I can probably get set up for 10:30. No problem. Worst case, I start a little bit later. All right, guys. Thank you. As always, appreciate it. I'm going to send you over to Owner's Box. Tell them I said what's up. I'll tune in for a little bit, and then we've got Behind the Lines at 12:30. You guys are great. Have a great week. Appreciate all the support as always, and best of luck on all your bets. Happy the puck is back. Although, you know what? It seems like it really wasn't even gone for that long. Take it easy. Peace.